This episode is powered by Safety FM.
This podcast is being sponsored by SafetyConsultantBlueprint.com.
In this episode, we are going to review must-have items for the safety consultant.
Do you want to be a safety consultant? Listen to Dr. Jay Allen of Safety FM give his experience after taking the Safety Consultant Blueprint course.
But I really think that you have a genuine good product there that can really assist people if they're interested in becoming a safety consultant.
Register for the Safety Consultant Blueprint at www.safetyconsultantblueprint.com. Enter code PODCAST for a special discount.
Welcome to the Safety Consultant Podcast with Sheldon Primus. I'm Sheldon Primus, and I am your host. On this podcast, I show you the business side of being a safety consultant, as well as some general safety and health information that's going to help you in your safety profession. So this week is going to be a little different than other weeks. I'm going to focus on something that may not have technical chops per se, but it is something that you still have to really think about and consider, and that is some of the things that should be in your toolbox, in your toolkit, in your car, that you're going to end up using when it comes to your profession. So one of the things I want to include, and this is a resource kit, steam iron. Think about that one. You're always in a professional setting. So this is my number one. I don't even think I have them like all numbered. But number one is that steam iron. See, I just threw it in on you. Steam iron? You're probably like, what is Sheldon saying? So anyway, I use that constantly. I've got one that I bring with me. The recording I'm doing right now, I'm actually on the road, and I do have it. I missed it once, and some hotels don't have your ironing board and iron, and you got a whole bunch of stuff. Those steam irons will just make your clothes look as if they were ironed in just a matter of maybe 5 minutes in some cases. And it's a wonderful item. It's something that's portable you could take with you when you fly. And I do. And that's right now I drove to my current location. I'm about to fly and I'm not going back home. So everything I brought with me is basically coming with me on the flight, and that steam iron's with me. And that thing is worth whatever little ounces it's going to be added to my weight for my flight. So steam iron, put that down as one of the things you should be looking for. So go grab one of those. Get a CFR, Code of Federal Regulation, but I really think you should go ahead and get Mancom. Mancom is one of the publishers of the CFR. Mancom does an excellent job. MANCOMM. Excellent job. They're not sponsoring the show in any way. I'm not opposed to them sponsoring the show, so if anybody from Mancom's listening, hey, hit me up. But truly, what you're looking at is if you are going to be a safety and health consultant, you got to know the rules and the regulations. The rules and the regulations are codified in the Code of Federal Regulations, so grab those CFRs, but you have to have them anyway, so might as well use one with a publisher that understands how to delineate the information so that you could find it easily. And you could also, they give you little special features, such as if you're in one of the sections, you can look on the top right corner of the page and you'll see the section number of wherever you are in the standard. Excellent, love that, so you don't get lost. Go down and you'll see on the corner of, and this is by memory, I don't have one here with me, you see on the corner of the pages is a black tab with a red hat. The red hat has a CFR, and it's not really a hat, it's just a little red box sitting on top of a black box, but that is another really cool thing. And then when you're looking in the actual section paragraph that you follow the paragraph all the way down to the end, and in red, they actually have a place marker number where you could tell exactly where you are, so you don't have to keep flipping and flipping and flipping to find where you actually are in that whole section. So it's really good to have. I'm a big fan of that, so I'm going to tell you that you're going to have to pick up a Mancom CFR. The only thing that you're going to look for is you want to get a projector. Projector sizes, it really depends on what your budget is, because those things are very expensive. So projector sizes, you're going to probably want to look for something that's going to give you very high lumens, the light. That's the most important thing, is the light, and then also the connections. Whatever you're going to use for your computer, make sure it connects. And if you have to match up, basically what you have to do is you want to match up that connection port to the type of computer that you have. So that's very important to do. I have one that's a Palm projector that I've had for years, maybe a good 4 or 5 years now. At the time, it was a Sharper Image, and I may have bought it. I kind of remember it being something like $300. Lumens aren't too high, so it's a big difference with the lumen. So you would end up having to turn off the lights in the room a little, and then lights, if you will, or it's basically lamps on the other side of the room, and then that makes it where you could actually see the projector real good in some areas that are very bright. Most rooms, you'll be able to see it, and it'll project really good. You could go back towards like maybe whatever your surface is. If you're back about 7 feet or so, you'll have a full room that could see that projector really well. So it works, and you'll have to get speakers with it. That's another tip. So we'll go straight into projector. From projector, you got to get some speakers. So that little handheld, and it's truly handheld, it is palm size. I fit this projector in my palm. It has its own carrying bag, and it has its own connections, and it has a battery pack and everything. I could fit all this stuff in my computer bag, just throw it right in, and have a way to project. And it even has an HDMI output, so great. But the only thing is the sound that's on this thing is you could barely hear it. The computer sound is probably higher than the sound that's coming out of this thing. So what I ended up having to do is I had to go out there and purchase some speakers. And when I got these speakers, you hook them up right into your laptop, but you have to tell your laptop what source you want the output to come from. So my output to my speakers, I want that source to come from the speaker and not from the projector, basically, is what you're the choices you have to make. So definitely get a speaker system. I mean, it doesn't have to be a full system. It's just one of those nice little desk speakers that you have out there. Just grab one of those and bring them with you. So that's the best thing to do there. Let's see. One thing that goes with this is very, very simple, is the HDMI cord that you're using to connect your computer to your projector. If you don't use the projector, you may also use a computer screen or even a TV screen that has a HDMI input in there. The HDMI input is that one that you see in your HD TVs. So that input is really good to have, and once you get that in there, an HDMI, especially if you buy a computer and you want to get a computer, laptop, make sure it has one of those. But that input itself with the cord, now you could, instead of using a projector, you could go use a flat top TV, hook right into there. You don't need your speakers because the HDMI cord will carry your sound. You are good to go in that situation. It's awesome. But just don't get any cord. You want to get one that is going to be one of the bigger coax type cords. Try to get one that's going to give you nice pure signal and quality. And then to boot, you want that sucker to be at least 25 foot long. All right, so you're going for a 25 foot. If you get a 50 foot, that's fine too. I don't think they make them in 50, but you want to get a 25 foot HDMI cord because you're going to need to stretch it at some point, and these little 6 footers or 10 footers aren't going to do it. So go ahead and get the long HDMI cord that has a very good connection points and sturdy cord. Mine's actually a flexible cord, but it's pretty thick coax size. So HDMI, that's the other one. The next is you also want to have a power cord, and a lot of these so far that I've gone through, besides the steam iron, has been related to safety training. A lot of your work is going to eventually be safety training. So I know everyone gets into consulting to do mock OSHA audits and to go out there and check out the field and work and write written programs and coach your workers. Yes, that's definitely part of it. You will see that, but that's not everything. You're going to end up having to do a boatload of training too. So you want to make sure you're ready for that. So next tip, resource that you're going to need is a power strip. So not just a cord, you're going to need a power strip. If you can get a good 25 foot, 50 foot one, that's going to be great. You want it to have a nice, strong, just a sturdy piece. You don't want one of these flimsy ones. So a nice, sturdy piece, and get that with the ground fault circuit interrupter. Gotta have that one. So use that, and I would go with maybe one of those 3 outlet ones, or I should say 3-prong one, so you could have the grounding, and then get one power strip that also has maybe 4 or 5 outlets. No, not even 4 or 5. Usually I think it's 3 or 4 out in the field. So 3 or 4 outlets is what you're looking for. And then you also want to make sure that it's a 3-prong one too. So you can have that grounding in there. Because there's a lot of computers, most computers, they're going to need some sort of grounding. All right. VGA cord is generally for older type of computers and PC, more specifically. That's the one that hooks right into the traditional projectors that we first talked about. That VGA cord have an extra one. So we talked about the HDMI cord, get your VGA cord, make sure your VGA cord, and there's another one that's, I can't remember it's more of a Mac version of the VGA cord because the way the pins are lined, it's funny, but make sure you check all your options there and have an ability to go to any type of device, any type of pin connection. So you may need a dongle or two in order to do that connection, and a dongle is just a mini piece of, it's a connector piece. Basically, like if you're going to go from an HDMI port into a VGA port, you've got one little cord that you could use, or an adapter piece. You stick that in one side, and it's got the other one. That's what you're looking for there. All right, another two are going to also be related to training, but there's stuff that you really need to have is your own markers and your eraser. But wait, not just any eraser. You want to go and get the magic eraser, like the actual magic eraser that is over at any store, really, any grocery store. It's the Mr. Clean magic eraser. That is awesome for any type of boards that use dry erase. It takes stuff off that's been there forever prior to when you get there and do your work. So get markers, colored markers, dry erase markers, then get permanent markers and get dry erase. It's stuff that you're going to need. If there's an easel set up there and you got some permanent marker, you could grab a hold of the pad, stick it on the easel, start writing stuff out. If it's a regular classroom with a dry erase board, grab your dry erase markers with your magic eraser and go ahead and do, the work that you're supposed to do there and write stuff out. People do like when they could interact with you training. And a good interaction is using markers on a dry erase board. So get all that stuff going. So that's all related to training, but it is some of the things that has just been invaluable to me. I can't tell you how many times I use that stuff over and over again, and sometimes I get into a training scenario and I'm expecting a room to look a certain way and to have certain equipment, and it's not there. So I got to now make sure I pick up the slack for someone who was setting up the meeting and just didn't do it right. So that stuff that we just went over is things that I've used a lot. All right. Next is you want to make sure you have a laptop. Then the laptops, you're going to have that for training. You're going to have a laptop that is going to be used for your general work. It's good to have a desktop if you have one. You can do a desktop and a laptop, but when you're traveling, all your emails, everything else you need, you're using a laptop. So when you're about to set up your business, just know for sure one of your expenses, that's going to be one of the first things you're going to put for your business, is going to get a laptop, and you want to make sure it's got the right ports. So when you're pricing these things, you want to price it, and it's, if you want to go Apple, if you want to go PC, if you want to, whatever is out there, go ahead and use the particular thing you want, but you want to make sure that it's going to have ports. That first will be HDMI. You want to also check and see if there's a VGA setting or something, or port. Ethernet port is important for internet if you have to be wired, because every once in a while you get in a place that you definitely have to be wired. You won't be able to use any Wi-Fi or hotspot coming from anywhere else. So have that prepared. Be ready for that one. And the other good thing that you want to look for is the webcam. You want the best one you can. And you want to get as high RAM as you could afford and memory as you could afford. That's the important stuff. The solid state drive and all that other stuff is definitely important, but you really want to make sure that you're going to have a computer that's going to be robust, going to have a lot of memory, and it's going to be a fast computing speed. So those are the things. For more, go to your local store that deals with that. I'm just going to tell you the stuff I know. There's a bunch of stuff in there I am not aware of. You will also need a Wi-Fi hotspot. So if you haven't really thought about the Wi-Fi hotspot thing yet, it is awesome to have. So that's you bringing your own internet wherever you go. I joined a Verizon plan a while ago that is now defunct, but I have a mobile hotspot that I bought from them, and this was an unlimited plan for $70. And if you paid online, auto payment, then it would go to $65. So unlimited, no throttling back or anything. And now I'm able to have Verizon coverage. But you are going to be in areas, sometimes if you travel outside of your local facility or your local area, you may have areas where Verizon won't work. And then this, of course, is whatever the network is for your country. If it's like I forgot the one in Jamaica, the Digicel, I believe it is. They have Digicel everywhere in Jamaica. It's just all over. It's like they drop money everywhere. But whatever your cell service is, when in your country, you want that hotspot to be able to connect in more remote areas as much as you can. So you might need a booster, but generally you can't really get a portable booster, I don't believe. Yeah, you might. But anyway, the most part is if there is 2 or 3 competing companies, then you might end up having to have different hotspots. Like for me, I've got one on the Verizon network and I got one on the AT&T network. And for me in the US, it's good enough. Some places may not have AT&T, but they'll have Verizon. And some places will have Verizon, but they won't have AT&T, so I'm connected either way. And my AT&T plan is different than my Verizon plan. I'm not going to pay unlimited for two. So what I decided is I'm going to do the very lowest on AT&T, because for me right now at the time of recording, I have more luck with the coverage with the places I go that AT&T is going to be there, but Verizon will probably be the primary. So I actually made that the unlimited in the plan. The plan was just ridiculous, $65, unlimited, no throttling. They don't have that anymore, but it was awesome. So that's what I currently use. So there's a whole bunch more tips that will come out of this, but the idea is, for me, I truly believe that these are essentials that you have to have to make your life easier. And when we come back, I've got another one that's going to really be a mind blower for you, because you're probably not think that I would even bring something up, but I do have a tip of the week that is also related to resources. So how about that for one of those cliffhangers that they say to leave you on? But before we get to the tip of the week, I just want to remind you that if you go to Neosti, neosti.org, that's the nonprofit association that I started a little while ago for training. And my idea or hope is that eventually through this training company, nonprofit, that it will provide low cost training or no cost training for safety and health throughout all of the U.S. and its territories, just to go to places that are hard to reach and bring training to them. So that's what my idea was, and that's the goal of this nonprofit. So it's the National Environmental Occupational Safety Training, Inc., NEOSTI, neosti.org. And you want to get to the Safety FM page. So it's neosti.org/Safety FM. So Safety FM has a roadshow coming up. They're going to be in Daytona Beach, Florida, August 5th, 2019. And then Denver, Colorado, September 23rd to the 27th. And it's going to be me and Dr. Jay Allen from Safety FM. We're going to talk a little bit about safety culture and safety compliance. Safety culture through the eyes of the Human Organization Performance Hub. And Dr. Jay will be talking about that. The 5-day events, Dr. J will take those two topics off at the end of the week, and at the beginning of the week, I'll go over OSHA compliance issues through the eyes of a consultant. And this is going to help you see how you could use your organization or view how you could, as an organization, prepare for either compliance issues or culture issues through the eyes of a safety consultant. So you go to neosti.org/safetyfm, and you could do the registration for the week-long event in Denver, Colorado, the 5-day event, and day 5 will be a safety roundtable. Or you could do a 1-day event at Daytona Beach, which is August 5th, 2019, all these dates. And that 1-day event is going to be both Dr. J and I split in the day, and we're going to talk about the same thing, compliance tips, and then also the human organization performance tip of the week.
Do you want to be a safety consultant? Listen to Dr. Jay Allen of Safety FM give his experience after taking the Safety Consultant Blueprint course.
But I really think that you have a genuine good product there that can really assist people if they're interested in becoming a safety consultant.
Register for the Safety Consultant Blueprint at www.safetyconsultantblueprint.com. Enter code PODCAST for a special discount.
Welcome back. And before we do the tip of the week, I'd like to just thank you for listening to the show. And you guys have been awesome for me. I get some feedback that it has been very good for other people listening. If you enjoy it, please share it with someone and just help me spread the word. So anyone who is a safety consultant, or if they are doing the role of being a safety consultant, or if you feel this is a show that you just got to hear, go ahead and share it. Share it. And if you can, subscribe to the show. And then also just make sure that if there's any time you have, give me an iTunes review. That's kind of like a big deal in the industry, those iTunes reviews. Everybody that you listen to on podcasts asks for those. So I'm joining in because I want to be relevant to iTunes so they'll keep spreading the word. All right. The tip of the week is probably something you would not have expected from me, but I am going to let you have it. So this tip of the week kind of goes towards resources as well. And I really love essential oils. And not just any. I am going to unabashedly tell you I use doTERRA essential oils specifically. And the reason why is because of its purity. So I do use that. I love it. It's been awesome for me when you apply pure essential oils. That's why I use doTERRA, because it's pure. And I don't want to say just essential oils because it'll make a big difference in the oils that you buy. So this tip isn't going to help you if you buy the wrong oils. So that's why I wanted to make sure you get a pure and the purest oil you can. And to date, that is going to be doTERRA oils, DOTERRA. So this is what it does. There's oil for any ailment, pretty much. And it's just natural remedies, the things that the shamans have been doing for years, and indigenous people around the world that don't have drugstores or anything, they go to the root, the plant. So same thing with pharmaceuticals. All the pharmaceuticals start with the root, the plant. So what the essential oils do in the purest forms is they press out the oils from each plant and then use the benefits of the oil for anything. So I have one that I have a pill bottle that I keep with me, or actually it's a pill case. And inside the pill case, there's 8 different sections, and inside I have 8 individual oils. So let's say I had a stomach ache. There's a blend called Digestin. So it works really quickly. I mean, within most of the time, 3-5 minutes, you're getting relief. So if you're about to go into a meeting or you're teaching a class and now you don't have anything with you, or Rolate or antacid or anything, you put an essential oil. This one is taken where you could rub it on your stomach, or there's other ways to get this. They also have a pill version and ingestible version of it, and you're good. Same thing, headache. Got the oil for that. Peppermint, the actual peppermint oil. You could rub it on your temple, and it's going to relieve a headache. So now I don't need aspirin, I don't need anything else, and the time factor is so short that I could react real quick, and I like that. So peppermint's one. There's a blend called Balance. I used to get terrible motion sickness. Anybody that knows me, I couldn't get in anything that moved without getting sick. And this doTERRA Balance blend, the oil blend, that is, they call it a grounding blend of different oils, and I use it on my pulse point inside my wrist on each arm, and then also my heart. I just rub a little oil, and it doesn't take much at all because it's so pure. It's a drop, maybe 2, so it lasts a long time. So I put a little dab of this oil in those 2 places, and now I am good to go. I actually don't get motion sickness anymore. If I'm nervous, because sometimes, yes, I still get nervous, I'll use that, and it'll just calm me down. All right, have a wonderful rest of your week, and I'll see you on Monday.
This episode has been powered by Safety FM.
This podcast is being sponsored by SafetyConsultantBlueprint.com.